Another film, John, I'm looking forward to seeing is Matrix 4, and this is coming in from Screen Rant. Matrix 4 had to spend $420,000 just to film in San Francisco. Reports say the upcoming Matrix blockbuster, which stars Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, spent $420,000 just to film in the Golden City. Now, there's a good shot there, John. There's a good photograph.
Want to bring it up, Stephen?
Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves on the bike. I think we've seen part of that. And I think this is the full shot we're seeing now with the production crew. I don't know if that's maybe just a bad Photoshop. I'm not really sure.
Just how good is this fucking guy aged? It's sickening.
Yeah.
It's sickening, man.
Carrie-Anne
to see
Moss
how
is
good.
looking great as well.
She looks alright, but she doesn't look quite as good as Keanu. This guy is fucking immortal. But he doesn't look quite as immortal when he doesn't have the beard or the facial hair, which is strange.
You
think the beard would age him, but it doesn't. It's the opposite for Keanu.
It's weird. Everyone else that gets a beard ages, he goes the other way. But John, according to SFK, Adobe Pictures paid the San Francisco Police Department a whopping $420,000 for their services. A long-awaited next film in the Matrix franchise began production in San Francisco in February of 2020, while the project was officially known as Project Ice Cream.
Ice Cream!
Clear it was actually Matrix 4 after public sightings of Keanu Reeves, his stunt double flying on a zip line, and the crew filming stunts in low-flying helicopters. When the production of the blockbuster film of this scale takes place in a populated city, the police department has to step in to ensure bystanders don't get in the way. John, it's Matrix 4.
And if this was
Ninja Dog: The Revenge Part 7, I don't think the police would be charging $420,000 dollars for their services. It's Matrix 4. Everything's connected to that. Problem is, John, Keanu Reeves, he's going to have to appear on set at some point, and that's the game away. It's not Project Ice Cream after that. It's Matrix 4.
It's like Blue Ocean or whatever.
Blue Harvest,
Blue Harvest, the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
Empire
I
Strikes
always
Back.
remember them talking about that, John. The price of everything went up on Return of the Jedi when everyone found out it was Return of the Jedi. When it was Blue Harvest, no one was giving a shit.
Yeah.
You know, and they were just, film there if you want, who gives a shit.
Yeah.
It's Matrix 4, you say? Oh, wait a minute.
$420,000 dollars.
This might cost you an arm and a leg, but what's your take on this, John? Because we're starting to talk about Matrix 4 again here.
Yeah.
There was a long break, obviously, with COVID, putting the sort of hex on things, John, but I'm looking forward to this film. I'm liking everything I hear about this film. I don't mind, and I know it was just rumoured, I don't mind if the focus is on Trinity as being the one. I don't really care because we got a...
I was going to
say a great trilogy. It's not a great trilogy.
Too good. It's 1.5.
It's an amazing first film, a decent sequel, and a poor third movie. Covering Neo's journey. So I don't really mind if they're taking this off in a different direction.
No, neither do I, Stephen. Look, I've got trust in Lana Wachowski. Everyone that's been on this cast says it's an amazing script she's produced. It's a sort of... I think they said something about a love story. I may have been making that up, a romantic sort of thing. Maybe I'm talking shit, I don't know. I remember vaguely them speaking about the script. But the one common denominator was the fact that there is confidence in this script. They like what Wachowski has done with this movie. And Stephen, getting back to the actual location, I think you're right. There's a degree of... what would you call it? I don't know. Opportunism.
Yeah.
They see it's the Matrix 4, it's a big Hollywood production, and they think, yes, it's a cash grab, we can make some extra dollars here. But another part of it is the fact that it is San Francisco. It's a major city, and the nature of San Francisco, it's a very hilly city. It's quite compact. It's not quite like New York where it's huge.
But like Glasgow, I would say.
Yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money, Steve, to shut that city off for 2-3 days, maybe a week, to allow this production to happen. Depending on where it's actually been shot, I can understand the cost. It's very fucking expensive to stay in San Francisco, by all accounts.
Yeah. One
of the most expensive places in the whole of the United States. Just a bomb. And just the nature of the city, I think, tightly knit. Have to shut some the roads down and stuff like that, or just shut down a huge area because of low-flying helicopters. That will cost a lot of money. We had Zack Snyder speaking about the Army of the Dead and the cost of hiring out, not just shooting, but actually hiring out and digitally imaging the strip in Las Vegas, what that costs so they can recreate it and make it fall apart and be dystopian for that actual zombie apocalypse. It cost a bomb for that as well, Stephen. So I think it's just the nature of shutting down these major US cities. It costs a lot of money, John, but there is opportunism in there as well.
What they could have done was what Cloud Atlas did. The Halle Berry Tom Hanks movie was they could have used Glasgow to duplicate San Francisco for
They
those
could've.
steep hills.
We've got a lot of steep hills here, Stephen.
Yeah.
Scary steep
That's what
hills.
they did.
Yeah,
I always
Stephen.
remember that because I was working around the corner at the time.
Yeah, it was that
So-
when you were.
Saw some of the cars they were using, the old what were they called, the Cadillacs and stuff like
Cadillacs,
that. It looked amazing.
Stephen, was that when you stayed in that? Was that when you worked in that one across from the big store? The big sort of the one in the corner with the huge hill.
Yeah.
That hill was a
Yeah.
fucking joke, so steep.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could have stayed. They
Yeah.
could have. Well, that's what they usually do. They usually come to places like Glasgow because it's a lot cheaper. You can shut down parts of Glasgow because who cares about Glasgow? It's a lot cheaper than San Francisco, so that's usually what they do. But clearly, they just had to get the shots. I think it's probably because it's not street level alone. It's not just low line shots where they can CGI the city above,
Yeah.
like they did with World War Z.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's probably because, as he says, it's low flying helicopters. They're trying to capture the actual city, and they need to actually
Yeah.
be in San Francisco.
in Glasgow that someone would
Glasgow.
steal them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Stephen, like man, it's the nature of the beast. I think these productions, they've probably set it aside. They've probably known it's going to cost a bomb. I'm just excited for this movie. As I said before, Stephen, I'm excited to see what they're doing with it, man, because they have to do something to redeem that trilogy. And what he says about Trinity, don't mind her being the one, because we've had 3 movies of Neo. This is an alternate sort of reality, I'm presuming, where Morpheus isn't there, sadly. And we're going to get to see her being the one and how it's going to play out. And hopefully it plays out fucking better than Revolutions, because that was god awful. Terrible. Sadly, we're not getting the great Hugo Weaving in there. It's going to be that other guy with the double barrel name.
It's Neil
Patrick Harris.
Yeah. He was a great actor, John. I think he will do very well as well. As agent,
Mrs.
whatever.
Trinity.
Yeah.
Miss Trinity, not Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
Can't do his accent.
Mrs. Anderson, yeah.
Mrs. Anderson.
John, I'm looking
Could
forward
be
to it
Miss
as well. I
Anderson.
just can't wait to see what they're going to bring.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones. It's almost like The Force Awakens. You know, where are they going to take this story? We had a beginning, a middle, end with the original trilogy. Where are they going to take this? So it'll be very interesting to see.
Is it a quasi sequel? Is it a prequel? Is it a frequel? Is it a I don't know.
Don't know.
Stephen, look, man, they're getting him in the right time as well. Keanu, he's in a crest of a wave. He's still young enough that he can do all this action. The guy's just a fucking absolute God-given talent. So I cannot wait to see him back as Neo.
Yeah, can't
and
wait.
kicking ass, as I like to say in the States. Can they do something revolutionary, like the revolutionary, not luminary, like I says there, with the bullet time? Can they do something different? Because that's what set the Matrix apart.
Yeah,
even now it's not aged terribly like some of those movies. You can go back and watch it, and it's amazing. We watched it recently. Sure, we reviewed it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great
enjoyed
movie.
it. It's still one of my best films of the 1990s. But we're going to move on to our final
Late 90s,
topic.
wasn't it?
It was 99.
99.
And this is coming in.